Conference play, how would you assess your team?
Oh, I'd say when we consistently rebound the ball, we'll be excited about the outcome. So we just need to be more consistent on the road, but glad we're back ready to respond and be better again.
What sort of things do you think you do improve on?
Just being consistent on, like I said, the rebounding number for us is extremely important. We want to continue growing as far as getting our mistakes on board and just focusing on what we can control. And thought we gave ourselves a great opportunity despite that heading into both fourth quarters with the tie or lead, and that's a pretty good place to be when you're on the road.
Are you happy with what you've seen in the team?
Well, we're never satisfied, so we always want to get better, and there's always room for improvement, and want to build on that.
What did you expect from Eastern Washington?
Well, they got three explosive players, and they've got a lot of athleticism. They force a lot of turnovers. They're super quick, disrupting a lot with their defense and changes and ball pressure. So they do a great job taking care of the ball.
I know they still have the lady house without being realistic. The attack has been more spread out in terms of the scoring.
Well, I think the core three have definitely picked up the load from a scoring standpoint, but they're still dangerous, and defensively I think they're doing a great job. And so for us, getting spread out, we're just going to do a great job of being in plays and making sure we finish up the glass.
What were your impressions of Idaho State? They kind of made that surprising run last year to the championship game at the tournament. So what were your thoughts on them, seeing them for the first time?
Well, they're always well coached, and they're going to be ready to play. Always a physical team, and they're on a win streak right now. But at the same time, we have a 2-point lead going into the fourth quarter with getting manhandled on the glass. So if we take care of the glass, I think I really like our chances.
Right.
I asked you about Peyton, but now that you're able to see the film completely for 2 games, I know she's the number one on the scouting report now. So does she have to adjust her game at all now that you've seen her a couple times?
Well, I think there's adjustments for every player as far as growing and improving upon your game. And Peyton's one of those kids that's not going to be satisfied with where she's at, and she wants to continue getting better. But the biggest thing is just keeping Peyton, and if she stays aggressive on the offensive end and still gives us a lot of solid defense, then I like what she brings to the team.
Yeah, has she been affected, mentally by the constant double teams? Different things teachers do?
I feel like she's gotten a lot of that even in the preseason. I think that's what your preseason schedule is for. I think that prepared her well. I thought the Weaver State foul trouble, a lot of that was just being in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And I think if we're boxing out, we're putting ourselves in those positions, those things we really can control. And sometimes it's just that night where you get in that place. But Peyton's got a lot of confidence in her teammates, and that's where other kids can step up.
Did that first weekend give you kind of a sense of what the grind might be like in the league throughout the season?
Well, I think it's always been a grind like that every year. It's hard to win on the road. I think there's always been a lot of parity in the conference, and a lot of teams would be happy with that split. I just think for us it was a little sour taste just because we had that 2-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and we had a really good start. So just want to improve upon our consistency and just being more solid defensively. Really uncharacteristic for us to get out rebounded like that. The last time that happened was probably Utah State, so we just want to get back to doing what we do well.
Coach Delaney still struggling with 3-point, throughout the pre-conference schedule too. Is she taking? Are you liking her shot selection, or is this just a slump? What's going on?
Well, let's talk about things Delaney is doing well. She's really finishing well at the rim. She's added that to her game. She's one of our most solid defenders, and she really doesn't have a lot of mistakes on the offensive end. She's got great experience. She forces great presses. She's one of our best passers. So, that's why Delaney continues to get those minutes on the floor. And I thought Weaver State, she had a fantastic game, and she'll get going for sure.
Trish, your team's play.
I'm proud of our girls, but at the same point that Idaho State lost, I think hurts us all. We went out and played on the roads tough, but we're hoping to bounce back from that.
Overall, what do you think of the team?
I'm so proud of these girls. This is one of the most enjoyable squads I think I've ever had the privilege of playing on, both talent and off the court. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm truly loving it.
So what things do you need to improve on?
I think it's early in the conference play and just kind of figuring out roles and finishing games and being in those tough game time positions only help in the future and later in the season. So I think just to keep improving and to keep getting better.
These last 3 matchups with Idaho State have been really back and forth, knockdown, drag out. Why is it that it's always like that with them?
You know, I can't say exactly. I know the squad, the returners from last year, were definitely fired up for this game this past weekend, and it stings again. But as you had just said, their last 3 contests were within 1 basket here or there, and I just think it's a testament of a well-coached team and a well-physical team, but just kind of how we match up too. We have different styles, and it's a pretty even ball game, I guess.
Coach Bain kind of alluded to it from what I can tell, just maybe you guys were pressing a little bit in that Idaho State game. Do you feel like maybe you guys are going to play really helpful in the games going forward?
Right. I can't say specifically, but I know for myself, when games get to be physical and a little bit more emotional, it is harder to focus. And I don't think any one of our teammates is saying to themselves, you know, hey, I need to make this, I need to do this for me. But I think naturally, as ball players, it's kind of how you react. And so we're working on that, we're getting better, but yeah.
You guys have put such an added emphasis on rebounding. I know it's always been important, but right now it seems like that's a huge key for you guys. So what sort of changes have you made just in the rebounding scheme and stuff like that this season?
Right. I think they've definitely put an emphasis on it. You know, and they tell us that they don't want to make us beat each other up at practice, but they will if we need to. So it's just getting back to the drawing board. It's doing the little things. It's hitting the weight room, being strong, being physical, and being aggressive, and letting that carry over to how we play and how we compete.
Blair and Madeline are averaging about 12 rebounds a game between the 2 of them. What have you thought of just what they've added to that element?
You know, they are absolutely phenomenal. Talk about some talented freshmen. Both of those girls work their butts off, and I think that directly shows in their stat line. They are physical, they are big, and they just have a nose for the ball. So as a 5th-year senior, I'm super stoked for this class. I love them as girls, and I love their play.
After the first weekend, you're optimistic or pessimistic?
Always optimistic, absolutely. Like as I alluded to before, you know, this squad is something special, and I think if we do our work early and keep continuing to improve, it's going to be a great year.
Coach said the Idaho State game left a sour taste in the team's mouth. Can you attest to that? I mean, would you agree?
It's never fun to lose, and especially going 0-2 the last 2 times we got to meet up with that team. I know I wasn't super happy about it. I know the girls weren't. It was a pretty quiet bus ride, but I think it's a good challenge and some good adversity early on to show how our younger freshmen and underclassmen, how we can bounce back and how we can react moving forward.
We were talking about rebounding. You know, how were you guys out rebounded by these teams against Idaho State?
God, you know, we watched the film back, and Idaho State is a tough team. You know, they board hard. I think they're like I said, they're well coached, and those girls have a lot of skill. But watching the film back, there was a lot of plays where we would have a solid 30-second shot clock, playing great defense, and we were in between our girl and the basket, but we didn't create enough space. We didn't, or they got a tip, and it tipped to another girl, and so I think more so it's just finishing those possessions and coming away with the rebound.
I know Peyton fouled out in that Weaver State game, and then she fouled out again, but she put up 16 anyway.
Right.
Idaho State. She's obviously the focus for many teams. Do you guys feel, you and the other starters, do you feel like you have to pick up when teams are really focusing on Peyton? Do you feel like you have to pick up your game a little bit more to kind of counteract what they're doing for Peyton?
Well, I will definitely say teams are going to focus on her because she is one of the best players I think I've ever had the privilege of playing with. And I think Peyton handles double teams and triple teams and traps with poise, with great poise, and following out and stuff. That's just Peyton Fair. She plays hard, and for us, when that happens, obviously we need to make adjustments. But I think we're still just experimenting with roles and how we feel and how it goes. But I tell you what, when she is on the floor, she's pretty lethal.
I know Eastern got graduated April Hodgins, but they're still seeming pretty potent offensively with maybe a more balanced attack. Is that tougher for you guys, maybe, instead of having one scorer really one and maybe more versus the other?
Right. Eastern last year, that was a very close game, and they are a tough team. And coming into Thursday, we're excited, and we're still prepping and getting ready. To go specifically to your question, Haley Hodgins was a phenomenal ball player, and her sister Delaney is a great ball player as well. So I think all in all, as you alluded to, it's a team effort on their part, and I think it's a team effort for us collectively to key in and to execute our defensive principles.
Zach, how would you talk about the team after the first week of conference play? How would you assess how you're playing?
Well, I think that for our first game against last week State, I think we made a big stride after that game in our defense, and allowed us to take the game against Idaho State. But I think we're taking some big strides in practice in the last couple days.
Overall, how are you playing?
As a team, we really were struggling with defense, like I said, and that's been our main focus this week. But we're doing a lot on offense. We're getting enough points to score. We're scoring enough points to win games. We're just going to work on defense.
So, how do you do that? What sort of things do you have to work on?
There's a lot of aspects to it. There's a half-court defense and then there's transition defense. And based on the next team that we're playing, we scout them and then see where their strengths are on offense, and then we'll have a defense plan as well.
Coach talked about you've had really good practices, but transferring that effort to games has been an issue. Can you talk about that and what you see and why that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of uncommon to be more energetic at practice, but once we bring out some court, we're good. But I think the biggest reason for that is at practice we're going against each other and we like to compete against each other. And once we get more competitive towards other people, like how we should be, we'll be really good.
Is that kind of a product of having a lot of new guys?
I think that's a big part of it too, because we all don't know each other that well, so we're still trying to prove each other in practice. Like I can guard you and you can't score on me, or the other way around. And it's a lot of competition in practice. So.
Zach, what does Quentin ever bring to this team?
Quentin brings a lot. He brings maturity to us most of the time, and he brings a really good drive to the basket. And he can shoot too, and he's a block defender. He brings it all. He gets rebounds. He's the highest rebounding guard on the team, I think, and it's just great.
How's he been able to fight through the injuries?
What was it?
How's he been able to fight through his injuries?
I mean, he's a tough guy. I mean, no injuries really slow him down. He's always wanting to go on the court. If he has a little ankle sprain or something, he gets mad at his that he can on the court. So that's great.
Do you see a big difference in Harold and the way he's playing now compared to maybe 8 or 10 games ago?
Yeah, Harold's. I think his confidence is finally back. He's playing very confident. He's playing very well too. And I think he's going to keep improving throughout the year.
I guess snapping that losing streak too, not only the confidence and seeing Hero, but overall as a team, do you guys feel more confident this week in practice?
Well, it's nice to finally get a win after we lost 7 straight. So there's a little more energy in practice, but we got to keep our winning streak up. So.
Have you watched much of these years?
Yeah, we've had individuals going to film to watch, and then we want to watch pretty soon. I think today actually as a team.
Kind of use that with the way they've used running the point.
Yeah, I mean they kind of run like 5 threes kind of, and that kind of helps our team actually. We match up a little better with that one, so I think it'll be a good matchup for us.
Has their style changed much? There was so much isolation last year. Do you see anything different in what they're doing offensively?
I think that the isolation is still the same, but they can do it with all 5 guys now, and I think that's probably the biggest difference.
I think Arthur mentioned number 32. How come this is his 3rd year in the team? How come he's just his game has grown so much? Do you think from what you've seen?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's probably a really good work ethic, I imagine, and he's probably being well coached and all. I don't know, good for him.
Yeah, how about just what it's going to take to kind of
Oh, it's going to take
contain him?
Yeah, he's a handful, so we're going to have to. I mean, we're going to listen to our coaches on what they tell us to do defensively, and we're going to stick to it, and then just do what they tell us.
What's your optimism level after the first week of conference play?
I'm very optimistic for our team. I think that we have the ability to do very well. It just depends on us and how we do it.
All right.
Assess your team.
I'm not so much worried about first week of conference play. I was more worried about getting our team to take a step in the right direction. After reviewing the film and looking at things, I think in our 3 years here, the other night was the best we've played defensively, locked in for 40 minutes. As I said, every time we've been here, it was a cohesive unit, it was a talking unit, it was a team that, that type of thing. If we could build on that, we've got a chance.
So what sort of things do you need to do that consistently?
Well, we've been a quiet group all year. A lot of young teams are. They don't understand the importance of talking. Talking builds trust. Trust, builds confidence. And we started to buy into that a little better. But I thought we've been practicing pretty good the last 2 or 3 weeks, and just we hadn't been able to take it to the floor. And thought the other night we practiced well, and we took it to the floor, and hopefully we can build on that.
How do you build on it? I mean, what sort of things do you as a coach like build?
It's I think this group's a competitive group. It's just a quiet competitive group. So, some of that comes on leadership from other players coming in, demanding things from each other. We've made our practices the last couple of weeks a little more competitive on the defensive end. So hopefully that helps, and we continue to build on that, because once we focus on rebound, once we focus on defense, we score well enough to be in good shape.
I know you said you've been practicing well, but have you noticed a little bit more of a spark in practice given how the result?
I missed practice yesterday. I've been out with the flu, so I missed it. So the guys liked what happened in practice. Thought they had good energy, but we needed to find a way to win. And winning a game wasn't just what we needed to do. We needed to win a game the right way, and we did that. And they knew they did that. And the film work and stuff's a real positive film there. So they feel pretty good about themselves.
What do you expect from Eastern Washington?
Oh, they score real easy. They're one of the few teams that, they start, I think 6'8", 6'8", 6'5", 6'5", 6'5", so they're a big team. But they've had some really, really nice wins in our league. They're very good at home. And obviously for Montana State, Eastern's kind of become a rival because of football, because of basketball. So I figure it'll be an intense game.
What about Idaho?
Idaho, again, I think our opening 6 games in league play were against the better 6 teams, it almost looks like. And Idaho's big, strong, very good at home, well coached. These are all the teams that I have got somewhat up in front of us. And so hopefully we can compete there, but we'll just worry about Thursday and see where we go.
You talk about how different Eastern looks from Akron to Julius?
Shoot it, they've got Jeff Wiley, the young man transferred in, that's kind of given the same type of influence and same kind of production. So there's not been that much of a drop off. He's actually a little more athletic than Vicky was. So they're not much different. They're still a pretty powerful group.
We talked a little bit about this on Saturday, but what is Harold doing differently now than maybe he was doing?
I think you're watching him grow up a little bit. I've asked him to be a little more aggressive. I think he is offensively. I think he's starting to believe in himself a little more, and that's kind of somewhat what the time frame is for new guys, about 14, 15 games before they kind of settle in. And he certainly was aggressive the other night. I really liked how he played, and he had 1 or 2 turnovers there that I'd like to take away, but we'll grow from that. I hope he continues to be aggressive.
How is the learning curve for him to figure out, okay, when do I shoot it? When do I
shoot it when he's open, pass it when he's guarded?
Eastern looks like they can play 4 or 5 different guys on the ball at the point. So just that sort of matchup, how do you combat that?
There's some situations there that they're playing a little different style, and so we're going to have to adjust a little bit. We're working on some things that we want to do, but having said all that, they're pretty comfortable, and the more comfortable they get, the more problems they cause.
You mentioned Wiley. What sort of strengths do you think he has?
Well, he doesn't score from outside, but he's effective catching the ball from outside and getting to the basket and doing those things. So you have to, he's 0 for 1 from 3, but he's all really, really good in the paint. And so his athleticism, I think, you guys would know better than I do, but 45, 46 block shots got to be at the top of the league, doesn't it? And so he's active, athletic, big man out there, and we've got to eliminate a little bit.
Have you noticed anything different about your team when it's on the road versus at home? Preparation?
No, because we haven't been on the road that much this year, and the teams we played on the road have been pretty darn good teams. So, I'm anxious to get into league play and start playing like teams and see what happens here and see how we handle it.
Are they asking, is the Joe asking more of Blizzard this year just in terms of his home run?
Yeah, I don't think Blizzard handled it that much last year because they had the young man transfer from St. Louis, so they had a guy, but he seems to be comfortable in that role, and they play a big team-type basketball, and so we'll have to see what we can do to disrupt that.
Coach, what would you like to see more from Whitman?
Well, I like the tandem we got there with him and Vontae kind of being the two guys that pressured it. He's had a knee injury, so he's now coming off the bench, but I've kind of fallen in love with that little bit of a tandem because they keep going in, alternating, and Q's actually playing more minutes now off the bench and being effective, and Vontae's being effective, and I've liked the pressure those two have given us.
How has he been able to come back from the injuries and fight through the injuries?
Yeah, I think Brett does a really good job with those guys and getting them healthy and stuff. He's over there right now getting treatment. There's a lot of things that you can do right now with just no school and just basketball. So treatment. He's been showing up and getting it done, and so hopefully Brett continues to do his job.
How tough is he?
He's a tough young man, as long as he stays in the focus. You see, in the last 2 games, I loved how focused he was. I loved how competitive he was defensively, because on the defensive end, he can intimidate someone and get a steal and create baskets. I thought the other night he scored a lot of times without us giving him things. He created his baskets, and that's just 4 or 5 baskets there that we don't have to think about how to get it. Certainly helps us, and he's turned steals into layups a couple times, and his pressure is really intimidating.
Do you need more from him?
We always want more, but I like how he's playing. I like how he's getting after it. I like how he's doing the things he's doing. So if he can continue that, we're going to be pretty effective.
No, you're not overlooking Thursday yet, but just Idaho without Collinger at the point guard, how do you think they change?
Is he out for...
He's out for indefinitely.
Is it? He'll probably be back for us. I think it changes them a little bit. They're big, they're strong, they're well coached. We're going to have to handle their inside game. Inside, they're just really strong. The young man from Portland is a very good scorer and got up, I think, 30 the other night against Eastern Washington. So we're going to have to do a lot of things, but like I said, I'll worry about that one Thursday night.
Do you anticipate keeping Q coming off the bench?
Yeah. We're not going to change the lineup after a win. But I like what he's given us. I think he's playing more minutes per game. And as a senior, you want to play a lot of minutes. And I think Vontae gets us started, and then him and Vontae are pretty close. So they kind of get competitive going, and it helps us.
Going on the road on the bus, does that change things at all for a new group like this? You guys have taken a bus trip before this year.
Yeah, we went over there to play Washington
right.
State. So, our travel's been good this year. Everything's been good. We just need to go over and play well, and that starts on the defensive end, and hopefully we start to buy in on that defensive side of the ball.